Weird News Report, Week 2. It's exciting. A whole nother Weird News Report. I know I'm excited. Oh, and also I got a haircut. My mom cut my hair. Didn't she do a good job? You don't care. Oh, that's not what you came for anyways. You came here for the weird news. So our first story is about Mike Lindell. Mike Lindell is the guy that owns MyPillow. You see him on the commercials. He has a mustache, I guess. Well, a couple months ago he got like really political, like really conservative views, like very extreme views, which is fine. But I don't think anything good has happened to him as a result of doing that. Like in the past few months, like a whole bunch of like online, or not online, but a lot of stores have stopped selling MyPillow. And now he's facing a $1.3 billion lawsuit from Dominion Voting Machines. Yeah, defamation lawsuit. He defamed the company Dominion Voting Systems. So not great. And he was banned from Twitter. But like, I think that's actually maybe a good thing. I wish I was banned from Twitter. And then I wouldn't, keep using that garbage website. A few months ago, Mike Lindell announced that he's starting his own sort of social media website, but it's going to be a free speech sort of social media, right? The interesting thing is that you can't, apparently you won't be able to use profanity or the Lord's name in vain on his platform. Which, like, first of all, how do you, like, filter posts that use the Lord's name in vain? Like, what if you say, you have a post that says, "Oh, I love God, he's so great." I just don't think, algorithms are that good to, look at the context of what people are saying. And also, the other thing you could say is that, well, it's not really a free speech platform if you're banning certain words, but all of this is very weird, right? Like, I just don't see it being very successful. He said he's invested millions of dollars into this, into Frank speech, which is what his social media is called. Which, like, it just seems very risky to me. And, like, I feel like there's a lot of reasons why this might not be successful. Like, there's already a lot of other free speech platforms, like there's Parler, and there's Gab, and there's probably others. And then it's hard to own a social media company, right? Like, and it was hard for him because the kind of launch of the website, it was kind of a rocky start. It was supposed to be last Thursday, but then they were having kind of difficulties. And then it was supposed to be last Saturday, but then that didn't really happen. And then it was supposed to be last Monday, but that didn't really happen. But it looks like now, finally, the website is up and running. But kind of a rocky start. Mike Lindell has claimed that the reason why the website has been so kind of rocky is because of a cyber attack on the website, which, like, okay. Like, it's fine. Hey, it's fine if you're having difficulties. It's hard to start a social media website, but okay. It's all very weird, right? Our next story is weird. British garden stores facing gnome shortage. So, right. With the pandemic, a whole bunch of more people are gardening, finding gardening is a fun little hobby. And so there's been an increase in garden gnomes, but unfortunately, this is a tragedy. There's been a whole bunch of factors that have led to a gnome shortage, and that includes the Suez Canal kind of block, the ship that got stuck there, in the Suez Canal and halted trade for a little bit. And of course, the pandemic, shortages of raw materials, and Brexit. Freight cost issues due to Brexit are all factors that have led to this horrific gnome shortage. What will we ever do? Well, I guess I'm fine because I'm in America. That's the greatest thing about America, is that we will never run out of gnomes, I bet. Suck it, England. I almost gave the finger. Almost flipped the bird to England for not having gnomes. Okay, moving on. Here's an interesting story. Poll. 46% of Americans would like to see Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson run for president. So Dwayne Johnson has hinted a little bit about being interested in running for president. He's at least he hasn't said no. And 46% of Americans apparently would say, like, yeah, I'd like to see him run. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, which is craziness. I also think it's a really bad idea. I think Dwayne Johnson, I think he actually does like care and like actually wants to help people. But that's like the best reason not to run for president, because you actually want to help people. Although he is a pretty good actor, so maybe he'd make a good president. Remember that movie Idiocracy, where there's a professional wrestler that's the president? I don't know. Would you guys like to see Dwayne Johnson run for president? Let me know. So here's an interesting article. A body was COVID washed ashore. Now this Pacific island nation isn't taking any chances. So there's this small island nation named Vanuatu. And it's had very low COVID numbers so far. It's had 3 cases of COVID total. And this is an island of 300,000 people, so it's doing very well for itself. April 11th, a bit of misfortune. There was the dead body of a Filipino fisherman that washed up on Vanuatu. And later, he was tested, the body was tested, and it was tested positive for COVID-19. Now that's unlucky. That's like... it just doesn't feel like something that could happen in real life, you know? But Vanuatu is, I think, it's not all loosey-goosey, let's just say. It seems like it's got anything under control. Banned all outward travel, you know, has a whole bunch of people in quarantine, like 16 people, everybody that came in contact with the body. So hopefully things are going well for Vanuatu, I'm sorry. But that's outrageous. You do everything right, and then the dead body of a fisherman washes ashore and screws everything up. Hopefully it'll be fine, though. It's just very unfortunate, I would say. Here's an article. Alton man discovers mysterious 19th century era tunnel beneath his property. So this man from Alton, Illinois, discovered his sidewalk was sloping. And, you know, he tried to fix his sidewalk, and in doing so, he uncovered this tunnel, this underground tunnel under his house. Apparently, they say it was built around 1840. They just don't know why it was built. They say this tunnel could have been used as maybe an ice storage or a root cellar, or maybe even part of the Underground Railroad. It may have functioned as part of the Underground Railroad, which is crazy. I didn't realize that the Underground Railroad was actually partially underground. But okay, that's pretty cool. Weird though. Can you imagine finding a tunnel underneath your house? 60-foot tunnel, 9 foot tall. Here's our next article. Man accidentally shoots himself while trying on pants in a Walmart dressing room. Why does this feel like the thing that happens a lot at Walmarts? Like, I feel like I've read a lot of stories similar to this where people accidentally shoot themselves at Walmart. And I'm not sure why it happens so often at Walmart. You think it would happen in a lot of different places. Apparently, the man was in a fitting room to try on pants, and the pistol fell out of his pocket and hit the floor and discharged, and it hit him in the leg. It's just very unlucky, you know, because like firearms are like tested to try to make sure that they don't accidentally discharge when they hit the ground, but obviously it's not perfect. It can sometimes happen where they hit the ground and discharge, and then it just happens to hit him in the leg. Like, poor guy, honestly. Did it say it was the gun was in his pocket? I thought you'd need like a special holster to have a gun, right? Like surely you don't keep a gun in your pocket. How big is his pocket? I'm jealous of this man's pockets, but not of his. But nothing else. He seems to be unlucky in every other regard. But hopefully he's well. Okay. Animal rescuers find reported iguana in a tree was a croissant. So this happened in Poland, which I'm not going to say anything about. But apparently there's a whole bunch of people. There's like in a residential building that saw this animal in a tree. And they all figured it was an iguana. And people were scared to open their windows and calling animal control because they were scared about this iguana. Well, animal control officers showed up, and it was a croissant that was stuck in the tree, and not, an iguana that had maybe been abandoned by its owner or something like that, which is good, but still pretty funny. But the animal control group said it's better to check and be pleasantly disappointed, sometimes laugh, than to not react, which can sometimes lead to tragedy. So good thing this didn't end in tragedy. Good thing it was just a croissant. But that does lead to the question of why a croissant was in a tree. Poland. Venomous snake found in lettuce package from Australian store. So this is interesting. There was a woman who bought a package of lettuce from an Aldi in Australia. When she brought it home and set it on her counter, she realized that there was a snake, a live snake, in her package of lettuce. Very unfortunate find. There was an animal control group that was able to take the snake and release it back into the wild, but it turns out that that snake was in fact venomous. Australia. And it does say that they ate the lettuce afterwards. Like the woman still ate the lettuce afterwards. They just washed it, which is surprising. But okay. Australia. So our last story is an update about a story I covered in the last Weird News Report about a week and a half ago. It was about the Cincinnati monkeys, the monkey mystery in Cincinnati. In case you missed it, there's a whole bunch of people that apparently saw monkeys in a Cincinnati graveyard, and they called police. The thing is that between a week and a half ago and now, no one has found any monkeys. No one knows where what happened to these monkeys. Well, apparently, Cincinnati police reporting to the scene the day after these monkeys were witnessed by all these people, the police officers found owls mating, which apparently sound very similar to monkeys. Can't make this stuff up. So it's possible that these monkeys were actually mating owls, which is insane, but I guess it makes sense. Cincinnati, what a city. There's a woman that lives very close to where these monkey sightings happened, and her name is Juanita Anderson, and I like what she said about the situation. She said, and I quote, "They could have said anything besides they seen monkeys. You think maybe they was high?" Which I feel like that sums up this story pretty well. Well, there you go. That was the Weird News Report. Episode 2 completed. Yes.